Browns assistant GM drops two-word praise on Shedeur Sanders. The Cleveland Browns enter the season with plenty of attention, having drafted two rookies in the 2025 NFL Draft, including Shedeur Sanders. The Browns enter the season with Joe Flacco as the starting quarterback, with Dillon Gabriel as the backup, and Sanders as the third stringer. Although Sanders is the third stringer, the Browns' assistant general manager, Hickman, praised Sanders, saying he's dedicated to getting better. He works at his craft, he's passionate, he's dedicated to it, she said. He puts the time in, and those are really the things that you can really hang your hat on when it comes to these young players. He's shown growth on the field. It's a super small sample size. So, we've got to continue to be intentional with his plan and work with him just like we will do with every rookie. Hickman says she's been impressed with Sanders' growth through his first training camp and preseason. Yet, despite being impressed, it wasn't enough to win the starting or backup job. However, even though Sanders is the third-string quarterback for Cleveland, he could very well get playing time this season. Browns assistant GM praises Gabriel. Not only did Hickman praise Sanders, but she also praised Gabriel. Gabriel is the Browns' backup quarterback as a rookie, as Cleveland selected him in the third round. In preseason and training camp, Gabriel showed some flashes of success, and Hickman says off the field, the rookie has impressed the staff. Dillon has been super impressive on and off the field, she said. He is extremely mature, professional. He has a process on how he goes about his craft, and it shows. There's a lot to work on as you enter this league as a young quarterback, but Dillon has really put the time in and worked with our coaches. So I really look forward to seeing his trajectory and how he collaborates with both our coaches and PD, player development, staff. Gabriel went 25 for 37 for 272 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception in the preseason for the Browns. Although Flacco won the starting job, all signs point to Gabriel and Sanders getting playing time this season at some point. Browns owner expects all three QBs to play. Despite Flacco winning the starting quarterback job, it appears unlikely he will start every game for the Browns. Cleveland could have the top pick in the 2026 NFL Draft and could draft their franchise quarterback. With that, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam said back in July that coach Kevin Stefanski knows the team needs to see all three quarterbacks play. Absolutely, Haslam said. Kevin is aware of that. He knows how important quarterback is, and he and Andrew talk about those kinds of things all the time. It's a daily, ongoing conversation. If Cleveland gets out to a slow start, Gabriel and Sanders should very well get some starts and playing time to prove they can be the long-term answer at QB for the Browns. The Cleveland Browns quarterback saga has taken on twists, turns, and controversies, but a recent moment of clarity came not from head coach Kevin Stefanski, not from ownership, and not from the national media. It came from inside the front office, when Browns assistant general manager Glenn Cook, measured, disciplined, and never one for headline-grabbing remarks, broke character and offered 2 words about rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Natural leader. That was it. A whisper in a sea of noise. But in Cleveland, a city that's lived and died with quarterback debates for decades, those 2 words lit up the fanbase like the dog pound in December. For Shedeur Sanders, a rookie trying to prove himself under the heaviest of spotlights, those words could be the difference between being viewed as a developmental project and as the franchise cornerstone the Browns have craved for generations. This is the story of how 2 words reshaped the Browns' quarterback picture, why they matter, and what they reveal about Shedeur Sanders' future in Cleveland. A city starved for stability. Quarterback instability isn't just a talking point in Cleveland, it's a way of life. Since the Browns returned to the NFL in 1999, they've cycled through more quarterbacks than most franchises would in 2 lifetimes. From Tim Couch to Baker Mayfield, from Johnny Manziel's chaos to Deshaun Watson's polarizing contract, Cleveland's history under center has been turbulent, maddening, and at times comical. The dog pound, loyal but battered, has grown accustomed to false dawns. Every new quarterback brought with him hype, optimism, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow, only for reality to crush it before the season could end. So when Shedeur Sanders, son of NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, landed in Cleveland via the draft, many fans rolled their eyes. Another rookie. Another experiment. Another story we've read before. But Cook's 2 words suggested something different. Something deeper. A sense that maybe, just maybe, this quarterback was not another fleeting chapter in Cleveland's saga but a potential breakthrough. The weight of the Sanders name. It's impossible to talk about Shedeur without talking about his father, Dillon "Prime-Time" Sanders. Dillon revolutionized swagger in sports, dominating both the NFL and MLB, redefining what it meant to be a star. Shedeur, however, has spent his entire football life under that shadow. At Jackson State, then at Colorado, and now in the NFL, he's had to balance the benefits and burdens of being prime son. For every door opened by the Sanders name, there's been scrutiny questioning whether he earned his place or merely inherited it. In Cleveland, those doubts intensified. Fans and pundits wondered whether he had the size, the arm, and the toughness to survive AFC North football, a division built on cold-weather grit and defenses that chew up young quarterbacks. That's why Cook's words were so telling. Natural leader wasn't about mechanics or arm strength. It wasn't about film study or accuracy percentages. It was about something intangible, something you can't measure on pro day but that every great quarterback must have, the ability to command a locker room. What leadership looks like in Cleveland. In the Browns' Berea training facility, where egos, veterans, and rookies collide, leadership is earned, not given. Shedeur Sanders entered camp surrounded by veterans like Joe Flacco, still hanging on to the twilight of his career, and young competitors like Dillon Gabriel, hungry to seize their own shot. Early reports painted Sanders as quiet but observant, a rookie who spoke less but listened more. Yet slowly, moments began to leak out. A fiery huddle speech after a brutal practice. A hand extended to a struggling receiver after a dropped pass. Staying late with offensive linemen to walk through protection calls. These weren't highlight reel plays. They weren't viral clips. But they mattered. Leadership in the NFL isn't about talking the loudest. It's about creating trust when the lights go out. So when Cook said, natural leader, he was giving voice to what the locker room already felt. Sanders wasn't forcing it. He wasn't pretending to be his father. He was leading in his own way. The ripple effect on the quarterback battle. Before Cook's comments, the Browns' quarterback depth chart looked messy. Joe Flacco brought veteran steadiness but limited upside. Dillon Gabriel showed flashes of creativity but lacked polish. Deshaun Watson's future remained uncertain.